Welcome everybody to creating and customizing materials with Canva. I'm so excited to be back here with you guys again. It's always an honor to work with you all. In the chat, I would love for you to share a few things. Number one, what's your role? And then using the scale, what is your familiarity with Canva, as it may have changed since last time? And this may be a first session for you as well. And also, I would love to hear what you hope to learn from this session. So in this one, when we're talking about creating and customizing, I do like to make sure I'm also customizing to support everybody here. And then Deborah has also shared with you in the chat the sign in with the remote check-in code so that you have that as well. New door prizes, exciting. So when you have a chance, I know some people might have just joined back in, but if you can just share your role, your familiarity with Canva, and then anything you hope to learn today from the session. So although this is like we call them our essential skills. And so getting started is like that essentials 1. This is technically essentials 2 with getting started with, creating and customizing material with Canva. So even if you're new, you'll still walk away with learning different aspects of Canva. We will review some of the things that we do in that first session, and then we'll also be diving in a little deeper. So if Canva is a little bit completely brand new to you, there might seem like some things are more advanced. And so I would recommend checking in with one of those getting started sessions, possibly at some point. However, I will say anybody who comes into Canva and just plays around is easily going to learn because it's so intuitive. All right, great to see everybody in here. Okay. All right, so let's get rolling here. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm Liz Bostwick. If we haven't met yet, I'm your Canva learning consultant based up in the upstate region of New York. I've been a classroom teacher for 16 years and then supported as a technology integration specialist, teachers who are teaching grades at K through 12 and their students. I now work full-time with Canva as a learning consultant, and it brings me joy to just be able to work with so many amazing educators around the world. I'm also the author of Take the Leap, Ignite a Culture of Innovation, and I do a lot of work with districts on creating authentic, meaningful learning experiences that deepen engagement and really support our students where they're at. And so I partnered with Canva because Canva is a tool that allows us to do all of the things that I talk and share about. You can connect with me anywhere on social media. And of course, show us the Canva love by adding that hashtag in any of your social media posts. We'd always be happy to share out your work and just celebrate the amazing work that your teachers and educators in all roles and students are doing. So if you are brand new to Canva, we do want you to know what Canva is. And so Canva is an amazing tool in which you have templates at your fingertips, from presentations to posters to video templates, infographics, and more. You can select anything and everything will be completely customizable. At Canva, everything is free for our school districts because ultimately at Canva, we do believe education is a human right, and our goal is to empower the world to design and create. So we do see that a lot of people have a blast using Canva. It brings a lot of joy to the classroom for both teachers and students, and really for anybody in any role. And I'm sure anybody here today, if you use Canva, you know that you can use it outside of your profession as well. There's so many ways to use it. One thing that we found to be unique about Canva is just the fact that the skills that students learn while using Canva really transcend the K-12 landscape. So we're really fostering all of these, many of these are ISTE standards. We do have the source hyperlink down here too, but when we're leveraging Canva, we're looking at how do we support students and educators as creative communicators, collaborators, how are we empowering learning and ensuring that we're creating experiences through the lens of an innovative designer. And so Canva allows us to do a lot of this. Within this session today, we are going to do a Canva editor deep dive. If you were with me, I think it was last week. I feel like I've been with so many different schools, so I believe last week. So if you were with me, we went into that Canva editor and we only touched on those first 4 tabs. Today, we'll go into a little bit more. We'll check out the 3 dots of more and some of the apps that we have. We're also going to go into some designing essentials, and you'll have some more opportunity today to really create in Canva. That Q&A doesn't have to be left for the end. Feel free to drop questions at any point. So let's dive into that Canva editor. For anybody, though, that is new, I do want to do a super quick overview of that homepage. So for anybody who is new, when you arrive at Canva, you will be greeted by that Canva work suite. So for the Canva work suite, you can select anything in here, such as whiteboards or presentations, and really navigate to what it is that you want to create. But you can also search in the search bar simply by typing something in, or you can go up to the top where you have your purple button. So just so that we are kind of know what's available, if you search posters, we have 97,606 templates, which is wild. That's a lot of templates of posters. You can find that on the side, you can filter your search, but you could also narrow your search with using math or ELA or anything that it is that you're looking for. Here we have simple machines. So there's lots of options. But remember, even if I found a simple machines poster, and if this is the one I wanted to select, it now opens me into my editing window. And when I'm here, maybe I like this poster, but I want to switch this out, and maybe I want to use this for text features in ELA. And now suddenly I've got a graphic organizer, like a Venn diagram for compare and contrast. So just remember, just because it says simple machines, you can change anything that you find to whatever you want it to be. So it's good for our students to know that too. Another thing in our Canva homepage, we'll always get home by clicking Canva. And I do want to draw your attention to the projects folder, because in your projects folder, this is where your designs will live. So you will see any of my recent designs are here. I can also toggle through, bringing myself to my folders, my designs or templates. And in one of our beginner sessions, I always hit on that you want to be creating those folders. So, oops, got some people in the waiting room. Okay, so just keep in mind that you can always create folders that will organize you, allow you to maintain all of your resources. You can upload from your computer, and you can also import from your Google Drive or OneDrive. Okay. So we'll dive back in. That was a really quick overview of the homepage, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was set with that. So we are now going to dive into a Canva editor deep dive. So we're going to go back through some of these Canva tabs that we have on the side and also do a little bit more. So when we look at our sidebar, this is where all of your editing, designing, and creating will occur. When you're open to the editor, you'll always see templates at the top, and you can search whatever you want. Next is typically you're going to find elements and photos, and then anything else you may add. So under our templates, whenever we select templates, you're going to see a variety of templates, and you can just simply scroll. And one other option that you have is to toggle over to your layouts in here. So you can see here, they're just adding in a template. So pretty simple to do. But your other option you have are your layouts. Now, these layouts are really going to allow you to customize your slide deck even further. So you might find a slide deck presentation that has 5 or 10 different slides, but then perhaps you want more. If you go over to layouts, you're going to find many more slides. And of course, you can customize them to fit the color tone and the font that you already have. In the first session that we did together, we did explore our elements, which we're going to dive into again today. But under your elements tab, this is where you can really make anything come to life with any photos, graphics, video, or audio. And then a new one for us today are looking at the charts. So I'm going to bump out of this for this example here. So when we come right in, and welcome to those of you who just joined, I just want to make sure you're greeted. So I'm glad that everybody's here. So we're just hitting on the charts feature. So I have charts on my sidebar here. And so if I were to select a chart, let's start with a pie chart, you can see that it's really easy to enter data. You can upload a CSV or a Google Sheet. And I'm a former elementary teacher, so I'm going to go primary polling, and we'll just do ice cream. We'll go desserts. We'll just leave it to 4. So you can see that my chart automatically goes into fourths. And now what's really nice is that up at the top, you can toggle your charts and select any kind of a chart that you want to use. So that one didn't. Oh, maybe my numbers are too low. Let me add that in. And you can do more series than that. Let me play with that a minute. Leave that one 10. So you can see how some of this will change the way that we want it to. There's my line chart. So you can really come in here and just play with it in different ways. So, but I love that you can take your data and just easily manipulate it so that you can have a row chart or anything. And just with a click of a button, you can adjust your data. And remember, you can upload files here, which is really nice. So, and then speaking of uploads, just be mindful that under our uploads tab, you always have the option to upload any files into Canva. So you can add anything that you need, and you can also record yourself in here too. So we're going to hit back on that record yourself. And with the record yourself option, it's really easy to select to record yourself. It will land directly on your page too. So I will do a little demo of that. Let's just bring that in real quick. I'll actually just go. So right now I'm in the recording studio is what we would call it. You can see my camera is not showing because my camera is being used for Zoom right now. But you'll see my little profile picture sitting here. And from here, I can just continue my presentation. And so that you guys know, you don't have to stop or take a pause in between slides. You can just keep clicking the right arrow, and the video, when it's done, will land on the appropriate page. So here's just a little demo of that. Within Canva, you also have the option to have text combinations. There are lots of fun text and font combinations that are already paired for you, but you can still select to customize those as well. You can also play with the styles with any of your slides. I'll come back to those too. So once I'm done, my video will land. And I can go right here. You also have the option to have text combinations. There are lots of fun text. So you can see now my video will just land here. And so that's just a nice way that if you want students to do a voiceover, they can. You can always position this to the back so it can be hidden too. And then when this is presented and every time you advance the slides, that video will automatically play. What's nice, let me bring that back. What's nice too is that if you look over at my uploads, all of those videos will land in my uploads. So if I ever wanted to capture that audio for whatever reason and place it on another slide, that's something I could do as well. Okay, so heading into that, I just wanted you guys to know the recording option. And so if you have your camera on and it's working and not using, oops, there's somebody trying to get in. Okay. So if somebody were doing that recording in there, you also have the option to keep it as a circle or as a rectangle, but it's a really great way to be able to have a talking presentation of any kind that you want. So speaking of those text combinations, another thing that we're going to be exploring today are just the fact that you have combinations down here that can be edited. So anything that you want to select. So maybe we're doing a gamified lesson with our students, And I can come in here. You can see that you can change anything still. You can change the colors and make any adjustments that you want, but it's just pre-created combinations for different purposes that you might use it for. Okay. Where am I going? All right, over to styles. So if you've never played with styles, another part of our toolbar that we're going to explore too is that you do have the styles tab. If you don't see some of these options on your left toolbar when you get into your Canva, you will find all of these under your 3 dots more. So you can see there's more from Canva, and anything you click will move along to your sidebar. So it really will just continue scrolling eventually. So if you only have 4 or 5 things there, it's just because you haven't used all of the additional features. So in the styles, what styles do is they allow us to change any of the color schemes that we currently have. So if I were to bring in, I'll bring in this little template right here. And you can see this one has a pre-created style here. And down at the bottom, I can keep shuffling it. And then if I wanted to select my styles on the side, I can use my brand kit. So you can see now it's shuffling the colors of my presentation, and some things you will like and some things actually that one I do like. You just want to make sure that that you can still read the text well, but it's nice that you can come down within the styles section of the editor and really play with any color combinations that are their palettes pre-created, and then of course text combinations that are meant to be paired. The beauty of this is that it makes anything that you're creating look more professional, and it really makes you look like a designer. And then another option that we have on our sidebar is the background option. So the background, this is my sidebar here, and you'll see all of the different backgrounds that you can add to any slide. So let's see this play out. So you can see in this little demo, they will select background, and it just gives some new pizzazz to whatever it is that you're creating. Now, these are not just photos. These are backgrounds that will take the space of your entire design. So they're really great if you're creating a video and you wanted those as your background. So lots of different ways to utilize those. And then of course, under that more option, you will have your character builder, a QR code reader, and a draw tool. So one little tip is that as you go through your Canva, and anytime you select something more, so anytime you go under beneath these 3 dots more, and if you add something, so let's say I added my background, I added my styles, all of those are going to generate or populate on that left toolbar. So if you ever need to get rid of them, you can just click on it. You see that little X will X it out, and then you can always bring it back in. I'll do a live demo of that on mine as well. So you can see I have my styles here. I can click styles and just X out of it. If I want to bring my styles back, I can come down beneath the more, and my styles will be here, and I now just added it right back again. So on my sidebar, you can see that I've even bookmarked some of my creations or some of my district decks that I'd like to use. So I also have my folders here. So when I add my folders, again, it's going to be under your 3 dots more. You'll have the option to add your folders to the sidebar. And when you do, what's really nice about this is that you can import slides from other designs to your new design. So it makes everything very handy. So anything, if I wanted to bring in even just one slide from another session, we can do that. I'll show you what that looks like. Add a new page. And so let's say we came here to the last session that we had, and I just wanted to bring this in. All I have to do is click it, and now that slide becomes part of this deck. So this is also helpful that if I know, oh, I want to take a slide from Farmington, I can come in here and grab a slide from them and bring it in. So it allows you to efficiently build any presentations that you're building. And the other thing that I'll show you before we move forward I'm going to add one more page in here. Oh, there it is. So another thing that we can do is I have this poster here. So notice I'm in a presentation, but if I'm teaching in the class, or maybe I'm just doing something at a staff meeting or any conference session, and if I wanted to bring in a poster that I've created, even though this is a totally different size design, what I can do is still bring this design into my Canva presentation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight over all of the elements, text, and everything. And you'll notice right now, everything is highlighted purple. And if I come under my three dots, or maybe these ones, nope, I should have the option to group, and that's not coming up for whatever reason. So let's try that again. Maybe if I'm just highlighting, it's going to move it. Okay, well, it's allowing me to still do that. Usually it comes up if you've used Canva, you'll have the option to group, but that highlight just allowed me to highlight and move it anyway. So there we go. So what's nice about this is that I can include any of my teaching resources right into my presentation. And then I could always come back up. I can always add any of my text, my font combinations if I wanted to, or just add a text box or my headings. So it's just a nice way that if you're ever looking for the fact that you want to bring something in, it's an option that you have. Okay, do we have any questions so far? Okay, we are good. All right. So the next thing we're going to dive into are the designing essentials. So let's get moving on that part. Okay, I think we have everybody in, so we should be good there now. Sorry to anybody who was waiting in the waiting room. I try to minimize these so I can access everything on my screen. So I didn't notice that anybody was waiting. So thank you to those who let me know though. Okay, so let's go into some design essentials. So some things that you can just be aware of is that when you go to search for elements, sometimes you can just type in anything regarding education, but you can also add like Sketchify, for example, by adding that terminology will give you something that looks more Sketchnote-like. You can also, we have all types of cheat sheets, if you will, for search terms. So we'll be sharing all of those. And right now what we'll do is we're going to go in and give it a try. And so a couple things that we're going to do in this collaboration document that I'll send your way is we're going to explore any of our favorite elements. So we're just going to take a second to do that. Whoop. Okay. We got a few documents for you tonight. So we'll go to this one. So right now I am also demoing how we share a document. So I'm clicking share. I'm going to go down to anyone with the link can edit, and I'm going to share that with you in the chat. Okay, so on this slide, when you're here, let's just go over to the elements and just kind of do a refresh and just share your favorite element. What do you like to use the most? So it could be something fun. It could be a certain graphic that you tend to use a lot of, but it could be something as simple as a dotted line. What do you think you'd like to share with others that if you're creating and if you were going to an element, what is something that's a go-to for you? I know for me, I do use a lot of shapes because I'm using those designs. Something else I use quite a bit are the frames. Frames and the elements allow any of our pictures to take the shape. So be thinking it could be anything that you want to search and find, But of course, be thinking just you have these categories to select too, from lines and shapes, stickers, graphics, charts. So those are all considered elements. I'm just going to get rid of that gray square because we don't really need that there. And if you guys would, you could just toggle over to the second page. I think some of us are on the first page. So you can just move right to this page where it has the favorite elements. It's more of like a blank page right now. And we can just add on anything that we tend to use a lot of. Deborah, I use the arrows all the time, and it's nice because you can flip them in different directions. You can change their color. With the kindergarten image, something you could try is if you click that, if you click on the image up at the top, you also have the option to remove the background. So you could click edit image, and once you click that, you can remove the background. So you might be left with just the letters of kindergarten. Yeah, these frames that allow your pictures or videos to take the shape are something that I'm using in almost every design. Oh, yay, we got the background removed. Check it out. And I like over here, we've got some layering effects going on of the waves. These letters are actually pretty neat, the letter frames that we have here. So I see a capital A, but I've seen people do some really neat graphic work with student names and then students adding in pictures that connect with who they are. Yeah, the animations are really nice as well. So we'll take another 30 seconds and then we'll continue on. And we do have a couple more pages of some activities that will just get us exploring a little bit more today. So just an example of that too is, so I just took the first letter of my name, which is an E, and then I inserted a photo into that frame. So it is kind of neat if you had people, you know, write out their name and then add a picture for each letter to tell about themselves. That'd be a creative idea too. All right, we are going to jump back into the presentation, but we'll be coming back to this document as we've done before. And so what I'm going to do now is just kind of play a quick little video on how you can also create an elements folder. So our elements are any of our little designs. It's any of our frames, shapes, photos. And so let's just check that out. So what you saw in this video was that you can take any of your elements, so any of your favorite elements, and notice that today to find those, if you either went to your recently used or you typed something in, or maybe you just found something on the side that you knew existed. But what I love is that, so one of the things we did is that we used to always read Because of Winn-Dixie with our fourth graders. So I'm going to just search a dog just to show an example of this. So let's say I wanted to put something together with my students for Because of Winn-Dixie. That's a Kate DiCamillo book. And let's say I'm coming down here and I'm trying to find a dog that I think might connect. I'll go here. And so here I've just found this dog element. And now I just clicked on the 3 dots. And what I can do here, just to take you through a little bit more, you can see the keywords and everything like that. But here it is, that add to folder. If I go to my projects, I have here my folder Because of Winn-Dixie, and now I can save it here. You do have to scroll down though, because notice on mine, and that confused me when I was new to Canva with my folders, but you do have to scroll down to actually edit to the folder, and now it will be there. So what's nice about that is that anytime if you're creating something and you come across an element that you really like, but you're not going to use it in the moment, go ahead and save it to a folder. If you save it to a folder, that way you can easily find your element later on rather than trying to go back through a massive library of elements to find what you've had before. So that's just a little efficiency trick right there. So, and on that note, folders really are Canva's hidden superhero. So we want to utilize those folders as much as possible because it really will allow us to always keep everything organized. And it takes us right through. And if you don't have a folder, you can always go to create new folder. So you can always name a folder right on the spot. And there's a little example. Remember too that you can use existing resources. So if you want to import something that you already have or upload anything, remember that you can fully customize any of your PDFs right here in Canva. You can delete old pictures and add new graphics instead. So lots of things that you can create in here. Speaking of PDFs, here's just a little demo on what that looks like if you were to import them. Okay, so that took us through quite a few things that we've talked about today, how you can bring in a PDF, and we noticed that they were also finding elements. You can save those elements to that chemistry folder or bring them in from the folder. And then additionally, they hit on the styles. So you can go through and customize your worksheet to be however you want. So all such great stuff. So now it's your turn to explore. We're going to dive into some of those apps. So returning to our collaboration document, which is phenomenal. This is so much fun to come back to. Got lots of things happening. So here in our apps page, I'm going to actually delete that too. What we're going to do is let's go down. I love that somebody's added music to this too. Amazing. So let's scroll down on our sidebar. Now you'll notice my sidebar goes all the way to the bottom because I have so many tabs added. So what we're going to do is select the 3 dots that say more. And here's what we're going to do. I would like you to create with any app that you find in here that you're curious about. So the draw tool isn't going to open in this one right now just because I'm open in whiteboard. The draw tool will not open in a whiteboard. But if you wanted to explore the character builder, I'm not sure if we ever talked, we probably wouldn't have. I typically don't ever hit on text to image in a beginner session. So you can let me know if I hit on that with you guys before or not. I just know once in a while I have. Is there a way to create animation using our own videos? So I'm not exactly sure what you want your final product to be, so I'm looking in the chat. You can remove backgrounds from videos. So you can do that, and there is the animations option in presentation too. I'm not sure, like I'm picturing cartoon-like animation. So if we have the character builder, my thought is that you're asking how to animate those characters. Or is it videos? So if you want to just kind of clarify that, that would help guide me. And in the meantime, I know I see some people on the first, second, third, or fourth page, but what I'd love you to do is try to come down to this fourth page. So I know you may be having two tabs open. Sometimes that can get a little bit confusing. If you're here on my screen, I would love for you to open your more, and you can choose to add a character. You could try the QR code builder. The text to image, if we haven't tried this yet, it's pretty neat. You can type anything in here and it will generate, it could be a photo or a drawing or a painting of whatever you type in, and you can make it the most wild thing if you wanted to. So somebody has just added some Google Map in here. So this is an opportunity for you guys to dive into something you haven't. One thing that I just typed in, I'm playing with the text to image. Now this is in beta mode. Yay, we do have a little bit emoji for Team Awesome. You guys are definitely Team Awesome. And in this text to image, which is one of my options under more, I find this fascinating because it's kind of like an AI. It'll generate anything that you type in. So I typed in a dog skiing down a mountain with a hat on, and I'm going to select a painting, and we're going to see what it generates. Sometimes it takes a second to think, because remember, it's not pulling something that exists from the internet. It's really thinking about how to put together the words into an image. So that's kind of a fun one to explore if it's new. And there are cool ways to use this in the classroom. So even if kids are writing like a creative story, this is a really neat way for them to generate some images that might go with it. So here is what Canva generated. So I had put in a dog skiing down a mountain with a hat on. So I got two images. It almost looks like a sled. So there's two of my text to image. Yep, somebody has the charts. They're playing with the charts, so very cool. And just be aware you can zoom into this whiteboard. So if anything seems too tiny, just remember that you can zoom in. Oh, look at the dog. So under those three dots more, you'll have lots of different apps to explore in there. So it is neat to just give them a try and be thinking about how you might use them in teaching or learning or anything that you do within your role. Okay, there's a couple more I got. Okay. And then we have somebody checking out the emoji. So there's an emoji app in here too. We'll give about another 30 seconds for any exploration, and then we'll move back to the presentation time. If you guys have questions about any of the apps or any part of that we've hit on so far, please do let me know. Yeah, the text to image, that must be one with the baseball player. I was trying to figure it out. Sometimes they can come in and look very futuristic almost. So it depends if you hit, like the photos will come in kind of unique looking. But I really like a lot of times using the ones for the drawings or the paintings are pretty cool. Okay, we've got a multiplication embedded YouTube here too. Oh, there's, oh, panda bear and a grizzly bear and classroom. Very neat. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the presentation. And of course, you're welcome to explore. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send you a template exploration opportunity. So what we're going to do is in the chat, I am going to share a second link. And this here is built just like a choice board. So you're more than welcome to explore in your own Canva and type in something that you want. So by no means are you tied to using this one template. It's just an easy way that if you want to, so here's what we're going to do. When I send this to you, you'll be able to click poster, talking presentation, newsletter, or an infographic. This will function like a website. So whatever you click, it will take you there in Canva. If you prefer to not use any one of these and you'd rather go straight to Canva homepage and search for something that's not listed here, you are more than welcome to do that. I just make this so that it's easily accessible to everybody. And then what we're going to do is you're going to go in there. I'm just going to move some of these if we don't mind. And what we'll do after that is we will go in here and post a view only link of whatever you work on. And that's kind of a choice too. So I like everybody to make sure that they feel comfortable with what they're doing. So again, we're going to come in here, select one of these. We're going to take just a few minutes to play with anything that we've explored so far, or maybe it's something that you haven't explored, but you want to test out styles and that might be new to you. Please feel free to do that. And then when you're done, we're going to practice sharing a view only link. And I will do a little demo of that because sometimes we do get stuck on that. So I did drop, if you want to use my template choice board, feel free to access that link. It will go as a view only to everybody, so nobody will see anything that you're doing because it's just created to take you to one of these search options. So I am going to put a little timer up. So I just put a 5-minute timer on, and this is your time to really select any template that you might be curious about. And you can work on customizing any template of your choice. And again, playing with any app within that template to really change it however you'd like so that you can become more familiar with the editing. And then you can always share a view only link when done if you wish. In the meantime, please feel free to ask any questions. So if you're stuck on anything or just are curious about something, feel free to throw that at here as well. So I do want to hit on, I know we have a minute and 20 some seconds left. So one thing I do want to go over just how to, there's a couple ways to share a link. So we do have one link here, but I did want to give just a little preview of that. So I'm going to find an example real quick. Come back here. So when you share a link, I'm going to take this one. And so there's a couple things you can do. I'm going to actually take this goofy one that I was playing with. I wanted to test out the video. I wanted to see how to overlay a couple videos. So what I'm going to do, if you, and I'll go through this a couple times, so I don't want to interrupt anybody, but for those of you who might be finished, if I come up to my share and I select anyone, oh, it's not going to do it because it's a video. Hold on. I'll grab this one. So if I go here to anyone with the link can view, and if I copy this, if I get back to where I started, if I come in here and paste it, it's actually going to give like a preview. So I'll go over that in a second when the timer is done. Okay, so you don't need any text at all. So you don't have to add a subheading. So I'm going to back up just a little bit for some of us. So for those of us who are pasting a link, just hold off on that for a second. And if you can just watch my screen for just a quick second, you don't need to add text. However, that's typically what most people would think to do. So there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to show you a fun way to do it so that you can really preview links. If I take this right here, I'm just going to take this as an example. And if you can see my screen, if I take share, anyone with the link can view. So instead, I'm not grabbing anything up in my browser, and I'm going to copy this link. So again, I have anyone with the link can view. And now if I return to my document, and if I right click it, I'll have the option of paste. So I'm not using any text, and I'm just pasting, and it'll give me a preview of my design. So this is a really neat way that if you had students, if they wanted to share a view link to something and you wanted to refer to them while teaching, it's a great way to do that. There we go. I know maybe I need to, so it feels like sometimes there's so many directions to give. So I'm, sharing about the choice board. So I try to hold off on the link sharing, but I know it's also tricky because we're virtual. So there's a couple tabs and screens being used. So thank you for your patience as we work through that. And if anybody wants me to show that again, I'm more than happy to. Okay, we'll go back into our presentation. We only have about 5 minutes remaining, but feel free to add anything in there. And if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You're always welcome to ask anything that you have a question on. And if I don't know the answer, we'll always find somebody who does. So just a couple things, please just know that we do have a lot of tutorials to support you outside of these sessions. So we can always provide more sessions. I am more than happy to always work with you. We can always do workshop time and be able to support in all different ways. But just remember too that available to you, there are tutorials on Canva. On Facebook, there is a Canvas teachers community. So it's a really great community that you can share your questions. People will respond to them. We also have, there's a webinar that will be running live in the Canva teachers community this Thursday. And sometimes you'll find that teachers will share templates that they created. And so if you click the template, then you'll be able to save it and customize it yourself. We also have our district hub. So this is where you can find any resources as well that might pertain to any of your questions. And of course, we always love to hear your feedback. So I'm going to be sharing all of this with you. When you come through here, you can click any links, but you can also scan any QR codes.